Hello everyone, my name is Andrea, and today I'm going to be talking about the book River of Darkness, Francisco Orellana's legendary voyage of death and discovery. So, to summarize the book, this book is a true story with eyewitness accounts, and it takes place in the 16th century. So it starts off with Gonzalo Pizarro and his brother Lieutenant Francisco Orellana. They set off on this 8-month or so expedition down the Amazon River. Their goal for this expedition is to find the land of cinnamon, otherwise known as La Canela, otherwise known as El Dorado, which is a legendary land of gold. They want to go on this expedition because no one has done it before, and they think that they'll be successful at it. They set off this expedition with enslaved natives, mercenaries, hunting animals, and all the supplies that they would need in their crafts to go. As they're going down this expedition, they're noticing that it's a lot harder than they expected. There's a lot of deaths happening with their crew members due to diseases that they're exposed to that they weren't normally exposed to where they're from. They also had a lot of natives who were attacking them because they did have enslaved natives with them. And they also encountered a lot of different animals that they weren't used to, that they didn't have the protection that they needed to fight back against them. It goes about 2 months into the expedition where Pizarro decides that it's his time to exit out of the expedition. It turns into misadventure for him because he decides that it's not really worth it anymore. He doesn't think that they're going to successfully make it to the land of gold, so he decides to turn back and go home. On the other hand, Orellana, he decides that he's still going to stick with it. Him and 57 other of his mercenaries continue on the journey and go down the Amazon River. They encountered deadly snakes, more savage natives, and they rarely had food. They had to revert to insects and the different plants that they found to fuel themselves to even continue on the journey. As they were continuing on this journey, a lot more of his mercenaries were dying, and Orellana had the thought that maybe this adventure would lead to misadventure and they would never even make it to the land of gold. It came to a point where they encountered these natives who were very helpful to them. They didn't try to convert them to Christianity or force them to join their tribe. They just gave them enough substance and food in order to nourish them to continue on their journey. That was a really big turning point in the book where it helped Orellana keep that motivation in finding the land of gold. As they continued on the journey, a lot more of his crew members died, and although he did make it to the end of the Amazon River, he did not find the land of gold. And unfortunately, that was the end of his journey. But he becomes legendary because Francisco Orellana was the first European to actually navigate throughout the whole Amazon River. Relating back to the readings and the different books that we read over the course of our class, I can definitely relate Pizarro and Orellana's experience back to Cheryl and Wild. They were going into this expedition not having any previous experience or even anyone to relate to because they were the first to go on this expedition. And although they didn't have any previous experience, they still went on it on a whim with the motivation of finding the land of gold. Just like Cheryl, she went on this backpacking experience not really knowing what to expect or not really having anything planned out either. She was very inexperienced, but she still went on this journey to help herself, and she had that motivation. So they're both similar in ways that they had motivation and they had an end goal, but they didn't really know how they were going to get there, even though they still did it. So I can relate to Orellana and his experiences of the different hardships he had in his expedition to our backpacking trip and the different hardships that I was facing trying to continue on and push myself through the backpacking trip. I was very inexperienced in backpacking and it was my very first time, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I wasn't really ready for the blisters or the soreness, and so I had to push through those hardships in order to make it through with my class. So I can definitely relate to that in the sense that Orellana had to push through all of the things that he was going through and all of the death that he was encountering with his crew for the main goal of him finding the land of gold. So for my own personal definition of adventure, I think adventure can mean a lot of different things for different people. Some people do adventure for the thrill, to like step out of their comfort zone and to even have new experiences and see new things. I think adventure is directly tied into like your own personal growth and self-discovery. I think that when you step out of the norm and the reality that you're in and you go into a new experience, that's what makes it adventure. So I don't personally think that adventure has to tie into the different risks that you're taking. I think adventure is more about the experiences that you're having and the outcomes and what you gain from those experiences. I think in some instances you can go on an adventure and not know it's an adventure and then look back and be like, wow, like I gained a lot from that experience and that was a really good experience. I learned a lot of new things about myself and about the surroundings that I was in. In some instances you can know that you're going into an adventure and you have a plan for it and you know what you're going to get out of it. And there may be risks tied into not having everything planned out, but adventure is all about your own personal gain. So for my own personal plans of adventure, what I plan to do this summer is go on many micro adventures. I got really inspired from seeing all of your videos and also doing my own micro adventure video over the course of the class. And so I plan to take advantage of my free time and explore the city and go on different micro adventures. Why I really like micro adventures is because one, they're super cheap, you only have to worry about public transportation, and two, they're close and they're nearby. And so I feel like it's going to be really accessible for me and really easy for me to go out and step out of my comfort zone and have those new experiences.
Do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. Hello everyone. What is this jazz hands? It's so awkward. Okay.